Ever since I was in high school, or around my teenage years, I always had this idea that there was something incredibly wrong with me. I would always flush out the feeling. I would avoid the thoughts that would come into my head when I was alone by spending time with friends, or calling someone on Discord, or even just scrolling Instagram or watching YouTube. I would always find a way to avoid these thoughts that would come into my head. After high school, I was forced to change. I wasn't constantly around my friends, and we all had different stuff going on in our lives. Some of us were focusing on university, and I didn't have someone I could constantly call all the time. Because I was suddenly faced with these thoughts that I was always running from, I decided to go to therapy. I noticed that I felt like there was something incredibly wrong with me, and I needed a solution, and I needed it fast. So I talked to my GP, and he referred me to the best therapist that he knew. Do you want to know what my therapist told me? Every week, I would go into the therapist office, and I would explain how I feel like there's this feeling that inside me that there's something incredibly wrong with me, that when I talk to people, I feel like I'm faking that I have a good life, that there's these thoughts that I just can't get away from. And she told me, why are you having these thoughts? You're tall and you're a handsome guy and you're studying engineering at UNSW. You're studying a good degree. So why are you getting these thoughts? And she would almost say this every week. I would come into the office and I would talk about how this feeling still hasn't gone away, despite the medication that I'm on, and despite me trying to exercise or make a better life for myself. And she would say the same thing. You're doing great. You have a fantastic life. So why are you getting these thoughts? On the inside, I felt like she just dismissed the one problem that I came to therapy for. I was paying $200 a session every 2 weeks. And she was just dismissing the one problem that I actually went to therapy to solve. But I smiled and I agreed with her. And when I did that, maybe the 4th week in a row, it hit me. See, when I was younger, I discovered a way that I could become friends with anyone. Let's say I met someone called Bob in my maths class, and Bob likes people who are charismatic and outgoing. I would become a charismatic and outgoing person around him to make him like me. And let's say I met someone called Jane in my English class, and Jane really loves reading. I would pretend to know of the books she's talking about, or I would pretend to know the characters she's talking about, just to make her like me. This ability to become friends with anyone was something that I would abuse, and it would create these habits within me that I couldn't shake off. So when my therapist kept telling me that my life is amazing and I have everything that anyone would ever want, I would just smile and agree as a habit. And that's when I noticed that it was out of alignment with what I was truly thinking. When we say things that we don't truly feel, or when we say things that don't align with what we're truly thinking, we create what I like to call misalignment with who we really are. We change who we are for the people around us. I changed who I was for every person that I met, just so they wouldn't dislike me, because I know the pain of being disliked. I knew the pain of being disliked, and I didn't want to feel that ever again. So I would develop these habits that keep me in a state of misalignment with myself. This misalignment was what was eating me alive. And perhaps if you're a people pleaser yourself, or if you aren't truly honest with those around you, you can relate to this feeling of self-betrayal. Maybe you don't even know that that's the feeling that you get that is eating you alive. Because I know that it developed in me for so long, ever since I was a teenager to when I was about 18, 19 years old and first went to therapy. I couldn't escape it. When I went home that day and I was practicing meditation, I took a step back in my mind and tried to evaluate on that feeling that I got when I just instinctively agreed with her. I remember the pain that I felt within my mind or within my heart. It got a little worse when I agreed with her just mindlessly, without expressing what I truly felt. And that's what happens when you grow up as a people pleaser. You agree and you say things that don't actually align with what you truly feel at all. And in the process, you lose who you really are. You lose your opinions, your thoughts, and your ego. Those things get crushed by the habits of people pleasing. And you lose yourself. I can speak from experience that it's not easy to recover. People pleasing, the habit is built over a life where you needed to please other people in your life. Maybe it was family trauma. Maybe you need to please your parents. Or maybe it was from school. Like I developed it from school, from high school, because I didn't want to be disliked by the people in my year group. But whatever it is, it's difficult to break out of these habits because they're so ingrained into who you are. But you see, Chris Williamson has this quote from one of his podcasts. He says that not everyone wants to hear what you think they want to hear. I thought about this for a second, and they talk about it more in the podcast, but if you would disagree with someone, that isn't equivalent to them disliking you. It just means you have different opinions. That can be a benefit towards their opinion of you because you become unique and you stand out. And I'm going to be real with you, people pleasing, it doesn't even work. See, most of the people in this modern age can tell if you're being authentic or not. It's why I can't tell a story to you guys without you guys knowing if it's true or not, because we have this ability within all of us to tell if someone's being authentic or not. And when you people please, obviously you're not being authentic. So people see right through it, and people view you as a pushover, someone who isn't truthful and will just do anything to please the people around them. And this can affect things such as your friendships or even your relationships. And it's super hard to break out of these patterns because once you develop these patterns and you've grown up using people pleasing, you don't even know who you really are. It took me forever to discover who I was 100% authentically because I had to do a lot of inner work. And this kind of brings up the biggest question. How can I find myself? And I got this question on a video a few weeks ago, and I wanted to make a video giving a few tips to you guys on how you can find yourself after being a people pleaser for so long. First of all, my advice is meditate. Meditation can bring up awareness around these habits of people pleasing. And the first step of breaking out of people pleasing is acknowledging that you are a people pleaser and noticing that these habits pop up whenever you're in conversation with someone else. And meditation is a really good way to analyze the thoughts in your head and how they push you to people please. It also allows you to discover much more about yourself than just the people pleasing part. If there's something deeper going on, meditation allows you to notice what's happening, whether it be negative thought patterns or something way deeper like depression or anxiety. Meditation helps with noticing all of that. Second of all, don't rush to relieve tension in a conversation. When you disagree with someone, the common people-pleasing tactic is to just agree with them so you can resolve the tension that's building up in the conversation, instead of disagreeing and creating a discussion, a meaningful discussion. See, this is one thing that a lot of people-pleasers get wrong. People don't necessarily want you to always agree with them. And sure, maybe disagreeing with someone on something like a political topic can make them dislike you, but it's much better to state your opinion and why you think so, because it makes you unique and it makes you stand out. And most of the time, people will appreciate a differing opinion to what they truly believe, because it opens the door to different views on the same subject. And that's what the human experience is all about. It's all about the ways we experience things and the ways we think about things differently than other people. Disagreement is not equivalent to dislike. And that's something that we all get wrong. So next time you're in a conversation and you feel the need to disagree with someone, disagree with them. It's not bad to have tension in a conversation. And you don't need to relieve that tension straight away. If it's something you truly believe in, it's almost like you're standing up for yourself in a conversation. But it probably isn't that deep. So third of all, you need to accept the parts of yourself that you don't like. I hated the fact that I was hooked to video games for years on end. I I have so many hours in Dota 2, I'll put it up on the screen, but I used to be addicted. And I used to play for so long, and I hated myself every second that I did it. The thing is that I kept trying to push this part of me away. I kept saying, oh, it sucks that I'm hooked on video games. I wish I spent my youth doing something else. And while that may be true, it might have been better spent on something else. I found that accepting the fact that I'm hooked onto video games, accepting the fact that I'm the type of person to be hooked onto video games, that helped me a lot more than hating myself for it would ever, because it allowed me to accept the problem. I accepted that I was the type of guy to get hooked onto video games and to play it for hours on end and then hate myself after it. And then the problem kind of sorted itself out. I don't know exactly how it works, but learning to accept the parts of yourself that you don't even like right now. Maybe you're addicted to porn or video games or to nicotine or to alcohol. Accepting that you are the type of person that gets addicted to these things. Accepting that you are an easily addicted person when it comes to these things because you grew up on it can bring you closer to curing the addiction, but also to discovering who you are 100%. Because it's a part of your identity. Whether you want to love it or not, that part of you is always going to be there. Even when you're not addicted, your relationship with that thing isn't going to get any better. And it's always going to be a part of you. So you might as well accept it and love yourself despite the fact that you have flaws. My fourth point is you need to listen to your heart in conversations. I kind of covered this in the first part, but take a moment in conversations to slow down and to feel what you actually feel. To think about the topic and discover what your actual opinion of it is. Did what the other person say make you uncomfortable? Did you agree with it? Did you disagree with it? What do you truly think about the topic that we're talking about right now? Do you agree with the points I said in this video? Or do you disagree with them? I would love to hear what you think. You can write up a comment and express yourself, and it's something that you should do more often. And last of all, notice the negative beliefs that you have of yourself and flip them on their head. Fake it till you make it is one of the most effective tactics that you can use to flip negative self-talk on its head. You can blast yourself with positive self-talk and eventually you will think positive things about yourself. This one takes a long time, but if you just, whenever you notice that you're getting negative self-talk, if you just blast yourself with positive self-talk, the absolute opposite of what you're thinking. Oh, this is impossible. Blast yourself with, oh, I can do this really easily. Or it's only a matter of time. Flipping self-talk on its head can have a huge impact on how you perceive yourself, even if the self-talk feels fake. Over time, you'll just find yourself being more happy. It's like that thing where you smile more and you just feel happier. That's what happens when you bombard yourself with positive self-talk. It just ends up becoming a reality. I don't know how to explain. It's almost like visualization with the mind. It's like whatever your thoughts are, it becomes your reality. If you're delusional enough and you tell yourself that you're going to make it, it's only a matter of time and it was destined for you to become great and to succeed. Over time, that will become your reality as long as you take the actionable steps to become successful. On that note, if you're new here, my name is Lahiru and I make self-improvement content for people that were like me when I was younger. Join my Discord in the bio if you want to connect with me more intimately. And if you have any questions, you can ask me there. I would love to get to know some of you guys, especially some of you guys that always comment under my videos. I really do appreciate you guys. And I hope I can get to know you better. If you're a people pleaser, I just want to tell you that I get it. I was there for such a long time and it really sucks not knowing who you are and struggling for years to find out who you are again. And to accept the parts of yourself that have developed over time that you don't like and stopping these habits. It's very difficult, and I know. I would urge you to join my Discord where I can give you more personalized one-on-one advice if you are someone who struggles with people pleasing. Alright, just remember that there's something great around the corner if you would just choose to believe that it's there. I appreciate you all who have stayed to the end of this video. Alright, see ya.